always recommended that you do 3 days. The one you will not take water. 3 days is a recommendation for that. And just in case after 3 days you feel overwhelmed by the presence of God and you intend to continue, you are allowed to continue, but your limit for a dry fast without water should be 7 days. If you are going beyond 7 days, it is recommended that you begin to take water. I learned this one from master fasting men. This one is not scripture. I'm just giving you safe guidelines for safe fasting. In my own opinion, if you do a 3-day fast, the power of a 3-day fast is enormous. Most of you don't know. The kind of fast that, what's her name? Esther. The dry fast that Esther did. How long was it? It shook the government and tilted things in her favor. Just 3 days dry fast. If you have a problem that is so difficult that you cannot solve, I recommend 3 days dry fast. And that's one of the easiest ways to move the hand of God. You must have a very good reason to go beyond 3 days. And the good reason is that God told you. If you are not directed by God, we have other modes of fasting that you can do, not dry. Is that clear? Oh, you are not with me. I love you guys. I want us to live long together. You don't know how many people we have dealt with in this place that their situation was occasioned by unguided fasting. Fasting doesn't give you a miracle. Fasting doesn't change God. Fasting actually changes you. It's a facility by which you can yield, you can adjust, you can find alignment through the sensitivity that is in your spirit. So the recommendation is, if there's a serious challenge, the prescription is 3 days dry fasting. If you are, you see, if the if is very big, if you're overwhelmed with the presence of God, what the presence of God does, like Moses, he walked into the presence of God and forgot food. The presence of God can sustain your body without food. There's a dimension of the presence of God that can come upon you and you will not feel that you are not eating, you have not eaten food. You can use that dimension to do 7 days. Don't continue. If you are going to go beyond 7 days, begin to take water. I hope I'm making myself clear. All right. So we have 2 kinds of fast based on this my definition. We have, if it's above 14 days, it is a long fast. If it is below 14 days, it's a short fast. If you are doing without water, recommended time frame is 3 days. If it goes beyond 3 days and you feel the presence of God, if you begin to feel weak after 3 days, don't continue. It means you have reached the threshold, you have reached the limit. Any other thing that you are doing there is going to cause some damages. Are you still with me? Now, if you feel the presence of God and you want to go for 7 days, that presence can take you for 7 days. But it's not medically recommended for you to continue dry fasting after 7 days. You must introduce water. And if you introduce water, we do that water until 14 days. You need an express instruction from God to do any such fasting that doesn't involve food at all to cross beyond 14 days. You need God to tell you to do it. The type that you can do for 365 days, even if God tells you or not, is the one you break in the evening. If you want a journey, a spiritual journey, 6 to 6 is okay. Go for 70 days. You don't need to tell me. People in Somalia, that's the way they eat. They only eat in the evening. The nation is so poor that you have to gather your resources and prepare for one meal. Right? So some people in some poor places, that one meal experience is all they have. And they have grown till old age. All right? So if you want to do an adventure, then take one meal per day. And you can choose any time you want the meal to come. You can choose to take the meal in the morning and then you don't eat till tomorrow morning. You can choose to take the meal in the afternoon. Then maybe you don't eat till tomorrow afternoon. Anything that is convenient for the kind of job you do, for the kind of thing you do, go with it. That's the principle of the long fast. You must eat in the long fast. If you are doing food without water, recommendation is 3 days. If you sense the presence of God, you can push it to 7. If you are going beyond 7, add water. Don't go beyond 14 if there's no instruction. So this young man now was praying dry for doing dry fasting for 21 days. And my God, what was that for? What are you looking for? Spiritual things are not sprints, they are marathons. It's a marathon race. It's something. Fasting is something that you will eventually do as a regular part of your life. And when we say we live a fasted life, there are some people that don't eat morning at all. They don't eat afternoon at all. Some don't eat morning at all. They only eat from afternoon. And that's what they do. And they don't call that one fast. They're just living. That's how they live. Just to maintain some level of sensitivity. Just to maintain some level of sensitivity. So you don't eat in the morning. And I don't count that as a fast. Then when I want to now count the one I count as a fast, I now take away the afternoon. And then I eat in the evening. Because if I do 3 days dry, it doesn't have any effect on me. The one that works for me is a long fast. Anything from 40, 100, 200. Eating once a day. I know my spirit. I know my makeup. I know what works for me. So I will not join you to do dry fast because I will not profit from it. There were times during most of these times when we do IEC conference, I forget to eat. But that one is the Holy Ghost that came upon me. And then I forget. If I remember, I can eat. But I know days that I forgot. The fast that works for me is 6 to 6 for 40 and above. That one works for me. It takes time for my spirit to rise. It takes time for me. So do the one that is suitable to you. You need to make a self-discovery of yourself. Don't try to be spiritual in the eyes of men. Just discover yourself. I used to do 3 days dry. Those days when I was in the university, 3 days dry. I don't get anything from it. Just as if I suffer myself and come out and there's nothing. But when I start 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 40. So I fast long before God comes.